I just washed my clothes. Excuse the couple white clothes in the back. It's been a healthy month of May. A healthy month of May. Shout out to all my listeners. Even if it's a couple of y'all, one day it'll be hundreds of y'all. Then it'll get to the millions at some point. One thing I've learned about the series of events that's happened, I'm not connected with every single thing. But there's certain parts of culture that tends to stick out like a sore thumb. It tends to just stick out. It's like, I gotta talk about it. I gotta put my input on it. And usually the best discussions that I like to partake in is the ones that I could relate to. Is the ones that I could really put personal input on. Something that would expand your mind in some way or be provocative to where you could bring this conversation back to somebody you know and be provocative with them. Or just have an interesting conversation. I don't like talking about rappers too much at all. But I've had quite a few videos talking about them. Maybe my last 2 or 3. So for the last time till it gets interesting again with the hip hop game, beef, and all that, one very important lesson that I've learned with all of this that happened, there's one very important lesson. When you care too much about the image that you portray towards the public, which means the image that you are, the one that you're naturally born with, the one that you're naturally walking around with from day to day, if you are constantly trying to curate an image, yo, I gotta post pictures like this, or I gotta not tell this truth, I can't say this, I gotta say something else because the actual truth doesn't make me look cool or doesn't portray the image that I wanna put out in front of my colleagues, my people, my supporters, my fans. When you're not authentic to yourself, there is an expiration date on how long you could keep up that image. I don't know if anybody knew that, but after a certain age, those things just tend to happen. Who you really are will pop out. Whether it's good or bad, it's got to show up. It's only a matter of time before your true self just wants to pop out. It's either going to get exposed or you're going to put it out into the open. I think it's always better to be the one that puts it out in the open and not be exposed by somebody else. You have control of it. You control the narrative. You control everything. The part where people say, hey, that's funny that he hid that. That won't be the conversation. It won't be, why did he hide that? It will be, oh, it's only, he just probably just wanted to get that off his chest. So when it comes to Drake and Kendrick, there's a lot of things that has been revealed. A lot of what we may consider to be truths. We don't know. But there isn't no evidence that goes against certain things. Exhibit A. Let's talk about Kendrick first. He's barely on social media. He don't be mingling and hanging out with too many people. He don't go to all these parties. He takes a lot of time doing his music. He's not constantly trying to get on socials and be like, yo, wait till this one drop or wait till that one drop. Nah, he just gets the work done, goes home, take care of his family. He doesn't care about the short-term pleasure of getting a like on your stories, saying something in the Twitter to be provocative to where you get a whole bunch of retweets. He don't care about that. He does his work, take care of his family. When he pops out, he pops out. But as far as attention, he doesn't care about attention. He doesn't care about how his image is portrayed. Because when you constantly trying to put out an image for people to feed constantly every day, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, when you just focusing on your craft, whatever it is, there isn't an image to hold up. Trying to hold up an image is like, you ever seen when women go on trips, they put the henna tattoo on their hand? They got it like on the back of their hand. It's not a real tattoo. They call it a henna tattoo. Trying to portray an image and constantly add on to your image and to constantly be something that you're not, it's kind of like putting on a henna tattoo. There's points where it will fade away. It's gonna fade away. We're gonna see your skin. We're gonna see the real you at some point. It's up to you on how long that will take, but it will show. Your skin will show. Your true skin will show. Now you could go keep getting the henna tattoo, keep adding on to your portrayed image, keep doing that, keep adding more marks, make sure the ink is nice and fresh. One day, either you're gonna get tired of the image that you portraying, the fake image that isn't you. See, when you are being yourself, when you're being your true self, you're not, we go through things in life that may change us. All right. We may have been the nice kid at one point, and then you go through something and then you're no longer the same naive, nice kid that you was back in the day. You might not be that guy no more. You might not be that girl no more. Things change you and add on to who you actually are. This is you now. You're not trying to be tough. You just might be hardened. So you might come off as tough, but it's an organic toughness. It's an organic. This guy has been through a lot. This girl has been through a lot. This is them for real. This is their skin. And then there's other guys that portray, that gotta be this, that gotta be that, that has to put out an image for people that may be supporting them to eat up so they could gain monetarily from those people, from the fans, from the supporters. There's some people that see through that. Now you see through it because you see yourself every day in that mirror, knowing the tough guy that you're portraying is not you for real. You ain't really been through that. You ain't been through enough to be that tough. You ain't been through enough to be that tough. You ain't been through enough to be that tough. You might have been through a lot through business, through, dealing with women. But you ain't never been like in real trauma. Like real trauma hasn't hit your life to make you portray yourself to be a gangster. Because everybody that's a gangster has something that turned them into a gangster. How you just, because you got more money than such and such, or you could pay to get somebody got knocked off, to get knocked off, that doesn't mean that you're the guy that's doing the knocking off. The image that you portray, you need to portray being a boss and not being a tough guy, if that's what you are. So back to Kendrick. He's a guy that likes to rap. He's a guy that takes his time rapping. He doesn't fall under peer pressure. He's very scientific. very cerebral. That's the image that's portrayed. Funny guy too with his music. Very funny guy. If you really listen close to it, that's really him, or at least his image, his face, his music, everything aligns with who he is. Rumors are rumors. Drake, millionaire, damn near a billionaire. He might be a billionaire. Unfortunately for Drake, we watched him rise from when he was a kid to the man he is now. And, you know, people can evolve to something great, something different. But when you're trying to portray an image that falls along with a trend, the trend is being a tough guy. The trend is dealing with a lot of women or dealing with other men's women or being a mob boss. Whatever images that are trying to be portrayed by such man, artist, politician, human being, there's a time where your true self will pop out or somebody will snatch it right up out of you. Yo, this is not him for real. This is not him for real. Look at this, look at that. And there's always breadcrumbs to show who you actually are. And the response that you have to the expose will determine if these things are true or not. The amount of evidence against you. If 1,000 people say you're a bad person and only 10 people say you're good, guess what? The majority of the narrative is going to win. And then you have the evidence. And then within your heart, you're actually this person that you don't want to be. You want to be the other guy that you've been portraying as on the cameras, on the TV, on the Twitter, on the X, on the Facebook, on the TikTok, in your music. The bad thing about lies is once they get uncovered, especially if it's about your image will never be the same ever again. Ever again. You got to take a new route now. You got to figure it out. When you could have went the other road and been yourself. But some people would take the sacrifice of getting the $400 million check, or take the being the most powerful, or take the but you risk having the greatest fall. One of the greatest falls you risk when you lay in a body of lies. Not saying Drake is lying. It's just, I just had to prove a point or just bring a lesson into this Think Pieces and Conversations. Welcome to another episode of Think Pieces and Conversations, by the way. We like 13 minutes, 14 minutes in, and I feel like I'm just starting to cook. Images that are being portrayed, the curtains that you put up, the tinted windows that you put up, hiding the interior of your vehicles. Not literally, but who you are. You are the person driving this car. Is either you take care of what you got inside of that car, make sure it's nice, clean, or decent. You're not meant to be perfect. But vulnerability, if you want to put your image out there, is way more palpable than you putting up a body of lies. Once the lies are shown, your reputation is ruined. It's over. It's gone. Your reputation is gone, man. Now you gotta worry about fixing your reputation. when you're trying to fix something that isn't you, it makes it 10, 20, 30, 40 infinitely times harder, because now you got to create new lies to fit a new puzzle that you're trying to put together. So it is palpable. It is, what's the word, man? It is digestible for the audience that you're trying to attract. When you could have just been you, way less effort. You could always evolve yourself. You evolve on what you already got. Whatever the weaknesses that you have, you pick those apart and you create stronger foundations. You don't try to be a whole nother person, a whole nother, you're not even you no more. You just some guy that you fantasize by, some guy you watched on TV that has no other parts of you, no organic parts of you. It's just, you was a good kid, now you want to be a gangster. Expose yourself before others expose you. Portraying an image is just a henna tattoo. Welcome to another episode of Think Pieces of Conversations. I hope you enjoyed this topic of discussion. I'm out of here.